How's everyone doing today? Day before Halloween. Um, sorry, been busy with the kids over the weekend, and then it was Sunday, and then just catching up a little bit on the Sarah Boone trial aftermath, everything, seeing what everybody was saying, so that when I came on here today, I could be like, all right, here's what's going on with the whole Sarah Boone case. I watched some of the court, heard the verdict, heard what people had to say about the verdict. Sorry, I'm just setting up the chat real quick. There we go. There's the chat. And then I forgot that Sarah was supposed to appear in court on the 25th and Fancy to this morning. And so I had an 11 o'clock appointment today, and I wasn't going to come stream till noon. When Dawn at the cutting board broke the news that Fancy was a no-show. So it's like, what do you guys want to start with? The Fancy stuff or the Sarah Boone stuff? Well, all of them are going to tie into what I titled with today, because all three cases today have different angles of the court system. Okay. So I guess let's go ahead and just start in order with Fancy. Then we'll move to Sarah Boone, then the Delphi murders, like I listed, and discuss the court processes. We're not going to discuss this. No, it's not hate against Fancy or anything. We're going to discuss what is being said and how that plays into the court system. Because I heard what was said. Hold on a sec. There we go. There's my history. Okay, hold on. I gotta pop up my history so you can see it first. So she says, oh, this is just so great. It's just so funny. So both Dawn from the cutting board and was there 1980 Millennial and the other one, that favorite one that likes to report on Fancy, are the three that kind of broke the news this morning about. Okay, hold on. Whoops. Okay, hold on. Let me add it to screen. Share screen. Sure. Okay. So we're solely watching this so we can commentate on where the court processes are. So what happened was back June, when they showed up in Chillicothe for the original reason they went to Chillicothe, and then they filed the police report on June 5th, they got immediately, by the time they got back home, they were being charged with filing a false police report. We've been over that story a million times over about how Fancy and Sarah were together on it at first, then they broke up, and then see, this is only their second appearance. Their first appearance was a month ago, back in September. Or was that their second appearance? Okay, Yes, you have a right to a speedy. We're going to explain the right to a speedy trial.
Earlier about Fancy's warrant. When I first saw it on CaseNet, my first thought was, well, could this be a mistake by the court? Fancy's known about this forever. Surely she wouldn't dismiss it. Well, she did, and let's listen to her reason.
Hey guys, it's Fancy, and I just wanted to come on here and clue you in on what happened this morning because I know a lot of you are going to be talking about it. So around 7 o'clock this morning, I got up. I had some issues this morning. I had an episode, and I got ready for court. I sat down on my couch to wait for court because it was still so early. I must have dozed off, and I missed my court date by 30.
Yeah, I don't know why she explained episode because it has nothing to do with dozing off. But in my opinion, because of what she says later, I don't think she dozed off.
30 minutes this morning. When I did come to and wake up, I realized what had happened. I tried to contact the clerk of the court, who was still in session with Judge Lemer, and she informed me that it was too late. He took my case up at 8:30 this morning, and he issued a warrant for my arrest with a $1,000 cash only bond.
Oh my God, y'all, this is a court date, not a high school test, and she's coming in with this high school excuse. I fell asleep? What on earth?
My attorney was apparently there, which I don't understand why, if my attorney was there, we could not just plead not guilty and set the trial date, because that's all we were doing today.
Oh, you don't understand?
Hold on a sec.
Dan, that's weird because
Sorry. Turns out it is a little bit cold. I do want to get a little kind of cover on. Okay, here we go. Let's finish
you
this.
understood perfectly why a warrant got issued with Sarah when she didn't appear, even though her attorney did.
So,
Well, okay, we need to look these up because I thought she was saying something about, okay, Sarah didn't appear 5 days ago because she had a doctor's excuse or something. She had a concussion and pneumonia then? Yeah, if you have an actual doctor's excuse. Because, see, Sarah is supposed to appear in person. I wonder if Fancy just ruined her chances to appear online because they granted Fancy the ability to just appear online. Okay, let's see. Let's look at this real quick. Warrant issued, failure to appear. $1,000 cash only, no surety. Hearing held. Adam was kind of laughing. Okay, let's see. Court, okay, public defenders oral motion. Okay, court takes up public defender's oral motion to law based on defendant's ineligibility for services. Court takes motion under it. Defendant April Johns appears not. Court issues warrant. What does that mean? Court takes up public defender's oral motion to withdraw. Oh, okay. So they assigned her a public defender, but because she's not eligible, he's dropping out. Okay. He's withdrawing. Okay, Chad Neswick. It said something. I told you on her attorney list it was saying something about. Okay. That she had an attorney or something. Oh, so she is up against Richard Lemur and Michael Lemur. No, Michael Richard. Dick Lemur, who she said. She keeps putting these guys down. I watched this whole 15-minute thing, and in this 15-minute thing, if I was fancy, I would be paying a $1,000 fine and picking up some law books because you're representing yourself, girlfriend. Oh, okay, wait. I was going to look at also Sarah's, I guess. Sarah Anderson. Hers because hers takes. I should write her number down. Her little number. Because hers is, there are so many Sarah Andersons. Like, it's amazing how many Sarah Andersons there are. There it is, Sarah Beth Anderson. Okay. Making false report, docket and entries. Let's see, on the 23rd, hearing held, she appears by prosecuting attorney. State appears. Defendant appears by attorney Honorable Susan Whitney. Defendant appear. Defendant's motion for continuance denied. Warrant to be issued. So both of them now have warrant. So not even Sarah didn't even have an excuse. Oh, Judge is Lemur. He's not the. So when she outed Richard Lemur as the. She said he was the DA, not the judge. Well, that's really bad. To say that the judge is having breakfast in cahoots with Adam Warren. That's really bad. What motion was filed on 10/20? Okay, once again. Oh, she was recently in a car accident and is suffering from pneumonia and is unable to travel at this time. Okay. So Sarah did put in a motion because of her on the 21st because of her pneumonia. I don't see where she put in something for continuance. I just saw that she said she wanted to appear via WebEx. Motion to appear via WebEx redacted. Filing certificate of service. Okay. They didn't rule on it though. Basically, and Fancy need to just get their butts to Missouri and face up to it. It sucks. But the second you filed, okay, first of all, let's say this didn't go bad, okay? Let's say this went correctly. Let's say there was a chest bump. Let's say there was intimidation. Let's say there was everything that they felt. And they're on the winning end, okay? Um, they would still have to go to Missouri to fight this. They wouldn't be able just to appear via WebEx. The second, they should have known that the second they filed in that, which Sarah did. I heard Sarah did because the daughter from Into the Weeds, her name's Alora, I think. She said that Sarah was saying, I just want to take the win, go. I don't want to file anything here. I don't want to come back here again. Because if you file something in a separate state, win or lose, you're coming back to fight that charge. Hey, Miss Mama. How you doing, Miss Mama? And so, win or lose, you're still coming back to fight the case. Win or lose. So that was one reason why she didn't want to file. Because it doesn't matter win or lose, you're coming back to Missouri. And then we'll talk about how the case goes. Because right now, they're in what? Second-ish appearances. So the first appearance, we could go through the docket. Your first appearance in court, whenever you go to court, your first appearance is your initial appearance to read you your charges and for you to plead. So basically, let's put this in the case we're talking about. Their first court date, they would show up to Missouri and stand in front of the judge, and the judge would say, you are being charged with a class A misdemeanor or whatever charge of making a false police report. Do you understand? Well, I'm good. Can't complain. Could, but yeah, that's what I'm doing, Miss Mama. I'm streaming instead because I'm trying not to complain. Trying to just live life, right? Hang in there, tie your knot, the end of the rope, hang on. So your first appearance is you say, okay, yes, I know these charges are against me. I plead. And do you plead guilty? Do you plead innocent? You plead out. So most people plead innocent and they say, okay, here's your lawyer. You have a right to a lawyer. Here's your lawyer. And then you and your lawyer meet for the first time. You wander off, you talk. Unless for some weird, odd reason, which this has happened to me a couple times before, you meet your lawyer prior to court, which you can. Your lawyers can get a hold of you prior to court. So, or if you bought an attorney, then you already, you bring your attorney with you on day one as you plead out. That's day one in court, always. Nobody gets away from that, okay? Hey, Angela. Day 2 and 3 in court. Once you show up and the charges are read and you plead out, you enter the game. Yes, because it is a game. And guess who? They always say that the bank is always the house is always the winner. The bank that everything's usually stacked for the house to win. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Is once you enter the game, guess how much power you have? You have 0, okay? You have 0 power, okay? Now listen to Fancy right here because she thinks she has some power. My reason why I think she didn't show up to court this morning is because of what she's about to say.
So I have still not, as of today, the 30th of October, this has been going on since June 11th, have not spoken to my attorney, my public defender, one time.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you technically don't get one.
That public defender has seen the letters you sent to the court, Sarah, and he
Humorously called him. I have gone and emailed him several times. I emailed the director. I told the judge.
keep in mind the judge that she's
We've all known for a couple months now that Fancy does not get a public. Everybody knows that. So I don't get why she doesn't know that, because everybody knows that.
referring to when she says I told the judge is the same judge that she brought up in the video where she accused DA Warren, the district attorney on this case, of being the person who assaulted Sarah, which she now says never happened.
Told the prosecuting defender that has been assigned to me. I don't know why we have had so many continuances, considering that it is the same thing every time.
First of all, they've only had a couple of continuances. And by the way, you do a continuance about every month. So first you do a couple continuances and you set up it, okay, because they give you a couple times to hammer out a plea deal and take a plea deal, Fancy. You hammered out the plea deal. You said no to it, which she's going to tell you in a minute that she said no to that plea deal. Okay, once you say no to the plea deal, you go back to court. You say, I want a jury trial. And they say, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I don't want a plea deal. I want a jury trial. They say, okay, let's set up the preliminary hearing then. Well, then you got to go to court once a month till the preliminary hearing. Then you got to go for the preliminary hearing. And if the judge deems at the preliminary hearing that the state has enough evidence against you, then, and you still want to go to trial and you're still pleading and you're not taking the plea deal and you're still pleading innocent, and you say trial, then they say okay. And then you go once again, you're back in the game of going once a month until they set you a trial date, and then you go to trial. It's the game of court. Every lawyer knows the game of court. This is how court is played for everybody. There is no exceptions. It doesn't matter whether you were ready to go to court yesterday. The soonest you're going to get a trial in America is 6 months. And that is damn good. Why, when in other countries, it would take you 5, 10, 15, 20 years sometimes to get a fair trial. Or to get a trial, not a fair trial. I mean, in other countries, you get a trial, it's not fair. In America, at least it's a flip of a coin whether you get a fair trial or not.
I can tell you why. It's because you changed your story multiple times, accused the court of corruption. Sarah was an assault, and then offered to cooperate. We throw it at him, Fancy. Look, you can feel free to pause to read. Every continuance happens after Fancy files some letter, a motion, a correspondence, whatever. And they kind of stopped after she got a public defender. But now she has a warrant for arrest because she couldn't.
But Fancy is not getting any more continuances or any less continuances then what freezes up and to refresh. Let's see, what was I gonna say? They're not getting any more continuances than each other. It's not like one went to trial and the other didn't. Like, if Sarah had already gone to trial and Fancy hadn't, I could see her complaining about why haven't I gone to trial yet. But they're both at the same. Neither of them have gotten to their preliminary hearings yet. Not one of them has made it to a preliminary hearing. You don't get to make it to trial till you play the court rules.
I am pleading not guilty. I'm waiting for them to set a trial. And then for whatever reason, they are the ones continuing this.
Okay, so she's trying. She says at the top, I'm owning it. Did Nancy put that? Because she's saying, I'm owning it. I pleaded not guilty. It's your fault I'm not in trial yet. Fancy, you haven't even gotten to your preliminary hearings or anything. You haven't played the game of court yet. You guys have barely gotten your lawyers assigned to you, and you guys haven't even shown up to court except for the first time. Like, that's it. Like, didn't they make their first appearance? Maybe, I don't know. Like, you don't show up to court, plead not guilty, and then next week your trial is set. And if you're in jail, by the way, Fancy, if you're in jail, it takes longer to get a trial because they just worry about people in jail a lot less.
They know you're guilty, and they don't want to waste any more of Missouri taxpayers' money on it by allowing it to go to trial and your public defender having to jump and jive for you. Like, they just don't want it. Missouri is, you get damn couch in time for pay. You ain't gonna have.
Was fully prepared to enter my not guilty plea today, set a trial date, and appear.
Clearly you weren't prepared.
See, she was sitting there saying, well, I was gonna do this today. You can't walk into court and tell them what you're going to do. Fancy she needs to call a lawyer friend, and she needs to pick up a law book. Because you don't walk into court and you don't dismiss this. And when they don't dismiss it, they told you, Fancy, time and place to do dismissals. You don't do dismissals when you haven't even had your preliminary trial yet. Time and place. At the preliminary hearing is when you ask for a dismissal. You have to show the state at the preliminary trial has to prove that they have a case to move on against you that would sway a jury. And if the court says, yeah, I'd be swayed by that as a jury member, then you go forward to trial. It's only a dismissal if the state cannot show that they have enough evidence to go forward. I would just take the plea deal and shush.
Prepared because whenever court time came, your butt was asleep on the couch.
So at this time, I am again waiting for the attorney to call me back, which probably
they're not going to.
And I have already emailed him and the
read court files for the day like everybody else has. Your attorney dropped out because you don't attorney. You either have to hire one or you have to represent yourself because you don't get a public defender. For some reason, I don't know why they're saying that. I mean, because everybody's talking about how Fancy's always begging for money and stuff. So if she's that broke, then why doesn't she get a public defender then? If she's that broke, why does she make too much for one?
The court trying to figure out what I can do as my next step.
If they bother to reply, they're just going to say, come give us $1,000 or stay the hell out of our state.
I still intend to fight this and go to trial. I had no...
Hey, Vin, what's up? Where's Vin? Where's Vin? Oh, there you are. There's Vin. Hey, Vin. Sorry, didn't see you come in. It's good to see you. But let's see.
No intention of not showing up. Um, so I don't know what will go on from here, but I just wanted to kind of come on and own this because it was my fault. I sat down and I rested my eyes for a moment and I missed the date. So I'm hoping to resolve this quickly and figure out what I can do to move forward with this case. And that's all.
To move forward, you have to play by the court rules. They give you a court date, you show up. If you have to plead innocent, you plead innocent again and again and again, because that's what you do. You plead innocent over and over and over again. Owie. Until HUEs. Surprised it's cold in my house still. My husband said he turned on the heater today. He woke up and it was 54 degrees in here. She's owning nothing. Oh, it's so funny. She's owning nothing. She's blaming the courts for not giving her a trial yet. You got to go around the board once and get your preliminary hearing. You got to pass go, get your preliminary hearing, and then go around the board again, and then you get your trial. You got to go around the board at least twice.
All I got, guys. So thank you for all your support still. I will be live here in a few.
I love watching that video in the Discord of Sherlock getting pet. It's so awesome. He's just so cute and just sits there and gets his little iPad with the thumb. I love watching it. He's just so precious. But yeah, the thing is, should we take a 2-second break and watch? It's a good, hey, maybe it'll help everybody calm their day down. Let's see, which one is it on? See, I'm trying to think. We need just like a Sherlock petting channel where we just watch him get pet. Oh, there it is. That's what I was wondering. So I'll watch him get pet. There we go. I'm good, Chewy. How are you? Look how cute that is. I love watching it. You're so good to say hi to everybody, Vin. Let's see. Let me see if she shares anything else interesting in this stream. But it's just funny that Fancy needs to pick up a book about court and lawyers because she's going to end up representing herself. She needs to properly do it. I don't know how much of this she can clean up that she's creating. Once you're in the court system, you've lost pretty much all power. You have no power to say anything anymore, to do anything anymore. You have hardly any power whether you win or lose. It's up to the courts. It's up to the judges, and hopefully they're not biased. And
I need an attorney that will take this case. I tried contacting all of the attorneys in the county. Nobody would take the case. And it wasn't even like they'd talk to me and be like, oh, I can't help you. They'd be like, oh, yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem. That's an easy case. And then they would pull up the case number and tell me that they're not able to take the case. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, that's an easy answer, Fancy. All you need to do is do your homework and observe a little bit. They pull up the case and they see that you started out filing that false report. Then they see that you turned on Sarah. They see that you accused the DA of being the person on the Fancy of kidnapping you, and you wanted the state of Missouri to file charges on her for that. You talked about stalkers in the UK and all kinds of crazy crap. They don't want anything to do with you. They see you're a liability, and they see that you'd be more trouble than you're worth. They can see you filed in one of the letters the name. Here is a letter that she filed that's available in the docket of her case, and I want to point you specifically to this one paragraph. What I want to point out there is in that second line, Fancy says, after speaking to me, Sarah, and our two witnesses. Her and Sarah filed the report. Amber and Alora were their witnesses. Fancy did not give just a witness statement. She filed a police report.
We could not see her after she allegedly fell back. So I don't know what is going on. I have been given emails between her and her attorney that prove that her attorney had told her that, you know, she was not going to be able to appear on Sarah's court date, and then she came anyway. So I don't understand what happened with Sarah's court date either. I really don't. And that's I don't understand. I don't care if work or not. Like, what do you mean because you're a nice person? No, that's your job.
Public defenders only do the bare minimum. They're only required to do the bare minimum. And if one wants to do a little more than the bare minimum because they're a nice person, I would accept it and let them. You probably won't get that with Fancy. You're not quite as personable as Sarah, even though you're a bit of peas in a pod.
That's your job. And if you cannot be there on my behalf,
that's their job if they're being paid. But Fancy isn't. Nobody's paying public defender for Fancy because I don't buy, but apparently I don't know. I don't get that. That surprises me that she makes too much for a public defender. Does anybody know if Fancy did Missouri for that Nick rally on the 18th? Just like 12 days ago? Less than 2 weeks ago? Because everybody was on that going, well, Fancy, if you're too sick to go to court and you need to appear by WebEx, because nobody's put anything on the internet about the Nick Go to John rally on the 18th. I haven't seen anything. I've been looking. Everybody says they're in it for Nick, but I think I don't I don't know. Everybody needs to get off this Nick because Nick is burning his own bridges. There is no help for Nick. He's burning his own bridges with that NPG Cornerstone Nation.
Then you would have to file a motion. Maybe Celeste, that might be helpful. I still don't have that. I've never spoken to Mr. Neswick. I also want to point out that Mr. Neswick was originally representing Sarah, so I feel like this is a conflict of interest all the way around. And I just don't understand. I literally do not know what is going on. I don't know.
If you really don't know all the stuff that you're saying, you don't know, Fancy, you're willfully ignorant. And
was originally do not know what is going on. I don't know.
if you really don't know all the stuff that you're saying, you don't know, Fancy, you're willfully ignorant. In the tune of Taylor Swift, hello, it's you, you're the problem, it's you. Once again, Fancy, the DA on this case is the man you accused of being the one who...
I don't understand the system that I'm in. I do not understand.
I don't.
Like, it's making no sense.
Nope. I don't understand how they're doing this over a fucking witness statement. I really don't. It's just
I don't
blowing
either.
my fucking mind.
I saw what I saw.
What, so now you did see her get chest bumped? You can't even keep your story straight in this live.
I saw what I saw. I don't know any more than what I saw. I told them.
Yep.
But at this point,
it's pretty dumb when you put things on the internet, because once you put something on the internet, it's on there forever. Everybody remembers that when she was in Chillicothe, that she was sitting there in the car going, oh my gosh, Sarah got chest bumped.
I don't understand.
No.
It does, that girl, it really does. And I've been trying to figure this out since June 11th when they charged us with this.
Same. Yep.
I had no idea. I have written letters to the court. I've written numerous letters to the court.
I bet the court clerks are getting a great laugh.
Yeah, and courts never write. There's not somebody at court that answers your questions. You can write the court's letters, but nobody sits there and answers your questions. It's what attorneys are for, and when you don't have an attorney, well, you better be picking a law book or something. Go pick up a Missouri law book. You need one really bad.
My court date to be, I'm still here. Can I appear? Nope. That there is some sort of something, because
Sorry, no creeps.
She rambled on quite a while longer, but honestly, y'all, I got bored. This is this is not the turn I expected this to take, and it's absolutely hilarious. Her excuse, did she really just fall asleep on the couch? Or she
in my opinion, I don't think she did. I think she's trying to exert her own power over the court. I think she's trying, in my opinion, I think she's mad that things aren't going just her way. She doesn't want to take the plea deal, and she wants a trial. It takes time to set up a jury trial. It takes time to set dates and clear the courtroom for the day or two that they need. They have to schedule and book out the courtroom, and they have to go get people from Missouri to want to come and serve jury duty. I should do a stream and explain why jury duty is the most important things you do in your life. And one of the reasons it does pertain to the Delphi murders. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those. Back in 2017 when they happened, I remember hearing about them. But then, yeah, the news coverage of them did kind of just drop off the face of the earth. and nobody really talked about the Delphi murders. Not until just recently they found a suspect, and he is currently in court. He is innocent, but he's in court. But how does an innocent man end up in court? If he's innocent, what is he doing in court? Well, they had another suspect, but that suspect passed away a couple of years ago of COVID. Well, they can't have that happen. See, when a murder happens, and especially in a small town of only 3,000 people in Delphi, they want answers. They want somebody to pay for it. Somebody has to pay. Well, you can't prosecute a dead man. So they got another guy that fit the description, who in the police interviews said he was at the park that day. He was at the trail that day. That was back in the mid-90s when my memory was better then. And so they got a guy in court right now who's innocent. And the reason why jury trial is so important is you're there to pay attention to what is going on. Because you see, the judge usually favors the state. Why? Because the judge will never believe that the state can lie and that they will lie. And the judge will never admit that the state lied to get somebody. And so the defense always has a huge uphill battle because the state, and right now, my memory is like a steel trap. It's just a bit rusty. That's where mine's getting. As you get older, man, start losing that memory. You're like, this sounds familiar. You're like, I think I knew it at one time. That's one reason why I came back to streaming, because I don't want to lose everything I learned in college. I don't want to lose everything that, you know, I worked my brain hard to get that degree, and to learn everything I learned about personality typing and stuff, and my brain is just melting. I can't let it do that. And so all the state needs is a couple pieces of truth, or I believe Nick should have gotten less prison sentence. Well, Angela, he was given his own plea deal. Because his plea deal wasn't as good as Gypsy, he didn't take it. And his lawyers, knowing that he had autism, should have explained to him that sometimes a plea deal is just the easiest. Because the reason why Gypsy got the plea deal she got is because she was the abused one, per se. Depends on what level of abuse we want to talk about, because I mean, there was no physical abuse per se. I mean, yeah, shaving your daughter's head and making her stay in a wheelchair, but then again, did she make her or did she willingly? That's also still up for debate. Nobody knows how complicit Gypsy was in all of this. We know that when she moved to that pink house, she was 16, 17 years old. And so we know that when she got that Habitat for Humanity house, she was of accountability age. No, yeah, no problem, Angela. His plea deal was his was in 30 years you get parole. Although, had he even taken the plea deal, though, I don't think he would get parole. Because usually, to get parole, you have to. Gypsy got parole. Why? Because she lied to the parole board. She told the parole board she wanted to be an advocate. She said she felt guilty for unaliving her mom. She said everything she was supposed to say. And she got her plea. She got Nick, if you ask him, he'll say, "Oh, if I could do it all over again, I'd just do it differently." It's like, no, 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 Nick. You're supposed to feel guilty for your crime. You're supposed to wish she wasn't gone. You're supposed to wish you never did it. You're supposed to wish that you either ran away with Gypsy or ditched Gypsy or something, but that you're not supposed to just say nah. Just you're not supposed to just be upset that you got caught. That's not the deal, Nick. Yep. The baby is just, I don't know who's going to end up raising that baby. It's going to be tossed from person to person to person, and it's all going to be Lifetime's fault. Well, also Gypsy's fault. Because Gypsy has been wanting a baby since she turned like 15, 16. She's wanted a baby forever. Dan wouldn't give her one. She couldn't get one with Nick. Who knows who else she tried to con into having a baby with her. My vote on the paternity test is it's still I think she had a rendezvous with Dan after she got back from LA while Ken was in Dallas and Ryan was in Lake Charles and Gypsy ran off some hotel or something with Dan. Arkansas is not that far from Louisiana. Isn't Arkansas like right above it? Yeah, it's like Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri. I mean, I'm like sitting here going, I bet ya it's Dan's baby. It's just let's see. And the other thing is when Nick was offered his plea deal, his mom, everybody, nobody was there for Nick to say, just take the plea deal, just do it. No, and nobody when he went to trial was there to help him with evidence or anything. Because I think, what was it? It was life with parole in 30. He was going to, but then he went for jury trial and he just got life without parole. Trying to see if I can find the exact stipulations of Nick's plea deal. It just says in this one that he had a plea deal, he turned it down. Verdict, go John filed an appeal of the verdict and sentence, arguing that the trial court had abused its discretion. Gypsy Rose, who negotiated. Go to John was offered a plea agreement for life in prison, but that he went to trial because he was hoping for a sentence more closely aligned with 10 years that Gypsy received. Yeah, see? And was offered a plea agreement from the prosecution for life in prison. No, there was a parole in there. It just says life. That's what he got. Life in prison for going. I know he had a plea deal that had like parole in 30 years or something. But nobody talks about his plea deal or anything. But see, that's the problem, is Nick was all alone. Nobody, no family came and stood up for Nick. No family came and helped hammer out a better plea deal. Nobody, because Nick could have said, I want a plea deal, but I want something. He could have literally fought for something better. I would have. It became vocal after a few shots of my bad. Ignore me. No, it's fine. Going to tell the Menendez. So this is the crazy thing. I've been watching Juxtaposition because according to him, the Menendez brothers are innocent. He says, I really want Juxtaposition to make a video about Dr. Oziel and his little girlfriend, Judalon Smith. Because he says the Menendez brothers are innocent, and he said, don't get me started on the whole Dr. Oziel story and his little girlfriend, Judalon. And I'm like, no. It's like, get started on it. I want to know. I'm like, please tell me why was this whole story about Dr. Oziel and everything? And like I told you guys in court, you are not allowed to say anything bad about the not the defendant, but the prosecutor's side. Whoever's on the prosecutor's side. And Jose Menendez, yes, during trial, they made Jose Menendez look good by saying that he was CEO of some entertainment business, live entertainment or something. But what they couldn't and wouldn't state, because it would make Jose Menendez look bad, was that was Prawn. He was the CEO over the prawn department. I've been watching him about the Manson and how they got Leslie Van Houten to, because for 4 months they had no one to pin the Schmurders on, and then they got Leslie Van Houten. 2 weeks later, she retracted it, but it was too late. They were already indicted. So he can't talk on YouTube because he talks about NATO and CIA and all of that stuff that YouTube flags. So you have to watch him on, it's called BitChute. Right here. Share this tab. He makes videos like I wonder, this one has a picture of the moon landing. I was saying the moon landing really is fake. See, fake Manson family trial. And it turns out that Sharon Tate was not even living on Cielo Drive. Roman Polanski was not living there. He did not own that house. That Sharon Tate and Abigail Folger and all them guys were lured to the house, and as soon as they entered the house, we're gone. They were surrounded and they were gone. And then the next night they did Lino LaBianca, all because Abigail Folger and Sharon Tate, their parents were in the CIA and so were they. And Sharon Tate had gotten pregnant, and I think she got rid of the baby. She got to a point where she was 8 months along in her pregnancy. She was pretty far along. She decided to step out, and so was Abigail Folger. Abigail Folger had a flight to San Francisco the next day. She was going to argue with her mom and leave the CIA, and they didn't give them a chance to have at least 2 shots to get over my anxiety to speaking and just oh, we should be like, yeah, interesting. Because, like, being behind the computer should be easier than being in front of the computer. When I first started streaming again on YouTube, I was so shaky. I was like, I can't get in front of the camera. I don't know what to do. Now I can get in front of the camera. I don't care. Yeah, see how Sharon Tate, Abigail Folger, Lino LaBianca were unalived by NATO. They didn't care that she was pregnant, but Charles Manson and everybody, they pleaded innocent all the way up to their dying day. And he talked about how Arnold Schwarzenegger refused to parole them out, even though the parole board wanted to parole them out. Because if they paroled the Manson family out, then everybody would panic, because they made the Manson family look so horrifically bad that they could never be paroled out. Ever. Now, the Menendez brothers, they can get out and gypsy Rose is jealous because the Menendez, she thinks society's going to do to the Menendez brothers what they did to her. Bring her out, interview her, interview the brothers, put them on a pedestal just to knock them down. But no, because whether the Menendez brothers are innocent or guilty, nobody cares anymore. Because what they care about is these boys were truly abused. They were made horribly from very young, 4, 5, 6 years old age, a very, very young age, all the way into their adulthood. So basically, he's saying a lot of Beverly Hills owned by the CIA, and so when you work for the CIA, because like Jose Menendez, the house that they were in Beverly Hills, they were just renting that house. They were not buying that house. They had a house in Calabasas. That's the house they were buying. That's the house that they owned. That's the house that Kitty was renovating. But when Menendez's friends stole from a bunch of houses in Calabasas and blamed it on Eric, Jose wanted to leave Calabasas for a little while because he was a little embarrassed to walk down the street. And they went to Beverly Hills for a minute. And that's where apparently these houses are surveillance houses also. The one on Cielo Drive, the one that Jose Menendez was unalived in, they're all NATO CIA house surveillance houses and stuff. So it's crazy because how did they get the Menendez brothers to? First of all, Dr. Oziel had tapes. And second of all, how did they get the brothers to admit up to in court saying, "Oh, well, we did it but because we were abused"? And so yeah, there's a bunch of and the Zodiac killer is also CIA. That's why nobody will ever be able to solve it. It's CIA also. Like a lot of the Southern California crimes. Well, he's saying that Nicole Brown Simpson could be OJ, but could be a bunch of other people. I did make a video on who I thought it could possibly, if OJ is really innocent, I made a video on who I thought did Nicole Brown Simpson. Go watch my Nicole Brown Simpson video and Princess Diana video. I did a 2-for-1 video. Sometime to show you the differences in me. But interesting, I have been watching the juxtaposition guy to kind of see what he has out all of this, because what if he's right that the Menendez brothers went to prison for something they didn't do? Or maybe they were hired to do it and Eric felt guilty about doing it. So but yeah. Okay, so ooh gosh. Did you guys okay, next thing, did you guys, I'm sure every by now has heard the, because it came in late Friday night, the verdict on Sarah Boone. It came in. I was hoping Friday night when the jury went out, I thought there's no way the jury's going to come back tonight. And tomorrow's Saturday. I got till Monday. I'm like, I got till Monday. I'll be fine. Because I'm like, the kids are coming over Saturday. And so I can't stream on Saturday. And I thought, I'll be fine. There's no way the jury is going to come back in an hour or two. Oh no, no. This is probably one of the fastest juries in the world. They probably all went back there, ate dinner, sat back, and the jury foreman's like, "You guys ready to vote?" And they're like, "Who says guilty?" And everybody put their thumbs up, and they said, "Okay, guilty, no problem." If I was on that jury, there are a few parts where I would say that they put reasonable doubt in there that made me say that the domestic violence abuse charges are to the moon map. Of course, platonically. Um there I watched bits and pieces of the trial. Um what was I gonna say? I watched a couple different lawyers talk about the trial. There's that one chick, and then this guy. Lawyer, and he knows that other chick too. The chick with the purple hair, her, yeah, Emily Baker. He knows Emily Baker also. And so I like him. He's very interesting.
Madam Clerk, if you could please.
Mm-hmm. We love uniqueness here. It was a very quick verdict. Hour and a half ish. Well, around a little over an hour, because basically they got to come up with the verdict. And then once you come up with the verdict, you got to have the bailiff type it up, print it out, go tell the judge, call the judge, get everybody back in. Like, it was actually around an hour. I didn't expect a Friday night verdict. I thought I thought they must have just paid real good attention. And I mean, there was parts of the trial, like I said, for me, that they showed a bunch of videos of, so on Sarah Boone's phone, they pulled videos from Sarah's phone. The point. What was I gonna say? Sorry about hearing about pests around the community lately, guys. Sorry about that. Anyways. Yeah, basically when a verdict comes back that quick, everybody pretty much had their mind made up. And I, in a way, don't blame them, because they showed a series of videos from Sarah's phone, and only, like, out of the 6 or 7 videos that they showed, only one of the videos, only in one video, did George get up and kind of come after Sarah like he was going to hit her. But she got the situation under control very quickly and got him to go downstairs and leave her alone. But in all the videos that they show all these videos from Sarah's phone. Let me see if I can find it. Sarah Boone, let's see, phone. Because they show these videos, and it's just horrible, because it's just Sarah screaming at him. It's really uncomfortable. And it's not because of him, it's because of her.
V is in Victor for identification. You may proceed.
Just, I hate watching domestic.
And all evidence will go back to the jury with a
They're also uncomfortable. See, it's not these videos, maybe. It's not those. Not those.
It's 12:20.
Not those. Oh, is it? It's what? This is one of them.
That's a client of ours?
I'm not starstruck.
I don't even know who the guy is.
I don't need.
So the reason why, so you fully admit now that you didn't care and you did brush me off in the car. Midway sentence. Because you're not into baseball.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying.
I want to go to sleep. Go downstairs.
Okay, yeah.
In most of the videos, he's like a little kid like this. He's coherent. He's sitting on the floor. He's scooting across the floor. And she's just screaming at him.
I'm leaving you. and I'm going to try and cancel plane tickets.
No.
Because I don't do special things for people like you that are doing this, like, to me, after I asked you at 1:21 in the morning.
I'm not doing it.
I wanted to be asleep. I wanted to stay asleep, which is why I got into bed at 8:30.
I know I'm not doing it.
I told you not to step foot in the bedroom. So what do? Nonetheless, you're drunk. The amount of alcohol, I know how much was out. I know how much was in there.
Oh, this is where he drank the alcohol without her, and he's like, there was a fuck left for two people to have a good time, and you drank it all by yourself without me. But these videos are very uncomfortable. They're him getting yelled at. They're.
But I can somewhat understand.
Don't ever.
I can somewhat understand.
And so this for me puts the reasonable doubt in it, because in a couple of videos, she tells him, "Get out! I'm done with you. I'm leaving you." You know, she's proven that she can dump him, that she can leave him, that she. I think it's almost like she just yo-yos him because she likes to abuse him. Okay, Miss Mama. And she just loves somebody to abuse, and he keeps coming back. And yeah, narcissists will always do that. They will always abuse somebody that keeps coming back.
Listen,
So the reason why I see
I don't want to.
See, he's always
Darkness.
incoherent.
You filming me, filming you. I haven't bothered you. I haven't bothered you since then. I just fell asleep.
is what you caused me.
See, right here is the only time in the video where he kind of attacks back. Right here. Right here is the only time. Other than that, he's always cowering in the videos.
Don't look at me. Don't come close to me. Don't touch me. Do you understand?
He's a real skinny kind of guy. Look at him. He's real tiny.
As of this moment, and until I can get you out,
Get the fuck out of here.
I dare you. Yep, look at it. Like, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away.
See, you can see though, she pushed him there. She pushed him right there against the closet.
from me. I'm gonna scream bloody murder. I'm gonna scream bloody murder. I will scream bloody murder. Get away from me.
Dude, nobody's doing anything.
I'm gonna fucking hurt you.
Nobody's doing anything. And you're filming it.
Let me go.
Nobody's doing anything.
I'm asking you, George, to get away from me. Please get away from me. Get away from me.
Yeah, I am. That was your function, dude. Malfunction. No, your malfunction is you, dude.
Okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Holy shit, the whole hallway just reeks of you up here. First it's shit, now it's alcohol. Don't step foot in this bedroom. I can't even breathe. Like, I'm.
So yeah, and then when she was on the stand and they say, tell us what it was like when you woke up the next morning and George wasn't in bed with you. And you realized he was still in the suitcase, and she's like, I can't explain it. And it's like, wow, you're not going to even try? Even if it's unexplainable, you're not going to even try a little bit? Nope, they didn't even want to try a little bit. But Sarah was told to take the plea deal. Her plea deal was 15 years. She's already served almost 5 years of that. She would have had about 8 years left if she took the plea deal. The judge told her, "Are you sure you want to take the plea deal? Because the minimum is 22 if you don't." And last week when we talked about this case, we counted it up. If she had gotten what I thought was also another bare minimum, which is kidnapping and assault, you're looking at 25-ish years for that or more. You're still looking at a minimum of 22 years, no matter which way we swing it. No wonder why she went through 9 lawyers, because 9 people told her, guess what? 9 people told her, take the deal. And she said, I want to fight it. She wanted to be in the limelight. She knew her case was going to be televised. The Delphi murders are not being televised, but there is a place you can watch them. There is somebody that is currently, hey Rufus, there's somebody that is currently, I think they're from Idaho or something. There is somebody that is currently that is what you call it? I'm trying to think. There's somebody that is currently watching those trials right now. And so they're giving us the scoop on what's going on. They're hoping that the jury, this is why juries are important. They're hoping that the jury sees what the defending lawyers are trying to get across to the jury, that this man really is innocent. It's not just somebody defending him and saying he's innocent. He really is innocent and stuff. And so, yeah. But I was gonna say, yeah. She should have took the plea deal, because she'd only be serving 8 more years. 8 more years. I guarantee you that judge, he's not going to give her the max life. I think he'll take into some accountability that she didn't mean. This wasn't premeditated, that it is second degree, because he could give her life. But I do not think he's going to give her the 22. I bet she's going, well, I'm going to appeal this and blah, blah, blah. But an appeal ain't going to work. Same evidence will be shown. You're still going to be found guilty. And then, so your appeal's nothing. And I think because the judge asked her, are you sure you don't want, because the judge was like, this is a really, really, really good deal. And she turned it down. And he warned her that 22 is the minimum, which that adds 7 more years onto the 8-year sentence. She said, bring it on. So the judge, he's going to bring it on. I guarantee you probably give her 30 or more. He's going to give her some time, though. For making everybody go to court, for taking up 2 weeks of everybody's time. It was supposed to be a 3-week trial. They sped through it in just under 2 weeks. There was a guy that lawyer guy was supposed to go, but he thought there was going to be a 3-week trial and he had time because his wife and kids and whatnot, and he didn't have time because they sped through it in less than 2 weeks. They just went through the trial like that. So all right, well, thanks for chilling with me today, guys. Hope you guys are, but we'll see you guys in Discord and stuff later, and we'll just have to keep checking in on what's going on. Let's see if Fancy learns to play the game, and Sarah and everybody else too. You know, sometimes you just got to take the plea deal. Sometimes you just got to take the plea deal. It doesn't exactly mean you're guilty, even though sometimes you got to say you're guilty when you take the plea deal. It doesn't mean you're guilty. The thing is a plea deal is a way for each side to come to an agreement of, at least you're saying, well, something did bring me to this courthouse, because the judge is never going to see you as 100% innocent. If you're sitting in a courthouse, you did something to get there. You know, you did something. And so you're taking some accountability by taking the plea deal. And it gives both sides a win. Everybody wins. Everybody goes home a winner. You live out your plea deal. I mean, what if Fancy does a plea deal? She does what, probation probably in maybe Kentucky. They'll move her probation to Kentucky because she can't do it in Missouri. I don't know what was in the plea deal. I mean, it's just filing a false police. I'll have to look up filing a false police report and see how bad that is. Like, do they consider that a real bad crime? Like perjury? They never care about perjury or anything like that. Unless the deck is stacked against you. I think it's like that one lady was laughing at. She said, look, they don't want you back in Missouri. Because usually, no, they don't care about filing false police reports. They'll just toss it and throw it away and move on like it's a normal day. And they never punish perjury or anything unless they really don't like you and they really do want you to leave their state and their county and they really do want you to go away. And maybe she's right. Maybe she's right about that. She was laughing the whole video saying, Fancy, they just want you out of Missouri. They want you to never cross that state line again into Missouri. And you know what? Like right now, the Delphi murders, that needs highlighted. And if people care about autistic people, by the way, if you care about true crime and autism and what's going on, there's nothing you can do for Nick Godejohn, by the way. Let me end with this note. There's nothing you can do for Nick Godejohn, okay? His case is done and done and done, okay? MPG Cornerstone Nation keeps proving that he is very well coherent and everything, knows right from wrong. He's not dumb. I mean, so he knew right from wrong. And he did wrong. And he chose wrong. Okay. But if you do care, the same day that Madeline Soto went missing, autistic 15-year-old boy went missing named Sebastian Rogers. He's still missing to this day. To this day. He's been missing for like what, 9-ish months now? 9 months. Sebastian Rogers went missing in Tennessee. I I don't know if he's still out there in Tennessee and on the East Coast. I'm out here on the west side of the United States. But his dad and everybody's still looking for him. This follows the Summer Wells case a little bit closely because, well, the parents are divorced and he went missing from the mom's house, who is remarried, and they are acting a lot like Summer Wells' parents. The mom is sitting back in every interview, not saying anything, while the husband is doing all the talking. And so it's a little odd. The biological father is got his boots on the ground every day. He's wearing his t-shirts looking for his son, while the other parents are acting a little strange. So if you do care about spreading the word about saving somebody's life who's autistic, look into the Sebastian Rogers case. Spread the word, especially if you're out there on the East Coast. He's missing. Don't know why nobody hasn't found him yet. Hopefully he really is still okay. I really want him to go home to his dad. So, all right, we'll see you guys later.